it's Leigh. Today is National Peach Cobbler Day, April 13th. It's also National Scrabble Day, but we're not playing Scrabble. We are going to make a homemade peach cobbler. Now, why is National Peach Cobbler Day so early? Peach season won't start until May, and it does run through the summer months. The best, juiciest, sweetest peaches won't be available until midsummer, in fact, around July 4th. So why make National Peach Cobbler Day so early? I heard, and I don't know if it's true or not, but that it was made to promote canned peaches, and that does make a little bit of sense. I went to my grocery stores yesterday looking for peaches. Some of them did not have any peaches at all, and the ones that did have peaches, they were sickly looking, and I did not want to use those for my cobbler. So I have opted to use frozen peaches. They're going to work great. So I'm going to meet you in the kitchen and we're going to get started. For the peach part of our cobbler, I have about 4 cups of frozen peaches because the fresh peaches are not in season right now. And these are actually sliced thicker than I would normally cut them. So I am going to probably cut some of the bigger pieces in half. I have a teaspoon of ground cinnamon and a nutmeg in there. And you'll probably want to use maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Cloves are another spice that might be good in this, and you can add or take those out as you like them. I have about 1/3 of a cup of white granulated sugar and 1/3 of a cup of firmly packed brown sugar. If the peaches are fresh, they might be sweeter and you won't need as much sugar. So this is something that you can alter to your taste. Okay, and for the cobbler part of our cobbler, we're going to use about 6 tablespoons of butter. If you want to cut fat out, you could probably get away with using 4 tablespoons. That might be okay, but I'm going to use 6. I have a cup of all-purpose flour, and I have a cup of white sugar. I have about 1/2 cup of milk. This is 2%. You can use whole or skim. And then I also have about 1½ teaspoons of baking powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Remember, it's important to check the date on your baking powder. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the end 2 pieces of the butter. And then we're going to put this butter into a baking dish that is at least 2½ quarts. And what we're going to do is just let the butter melt while the pan preheats in a 350-degree oven. And while that's preheating and the butter is melting, then we will be making our peaches. So I'm going to add my 4 cups of frozen peaches to a big saucepan. And I have cut some of the larger ones up. I'm going to add the 1/3 cup white sugar, the 1/3 cup of firmly pressed brown sugar, the cinnamon. You just want a little bit of nutmeg. And like I said, that other spices that you like would probably be good in here as well. And I'm just going to mix everything up in the pan together. We'll get the sugar melted and the spices mixed in. It's going to create a nice juice for us. It smells good. And it's created a nice juice. I'm going to let it simmer a little bit longer. Remember, we're not really trying to cook the peaches because they're going to cook in the oven, but I did want the juice to form with the sugars and everything. So it looks really good. If you think it's a little bit thin, at this point, you could add a little bit of cornstarch. Okay, I've got my 1 cup of flour, the baking powder and the salt, and the sugar. I'm going to sift these together. All right, there we go, and we'll get rid of the little bits. And now I'm just going to pour in our milk and gradually stir it in. When it's smooth and silky like this, you're good to go. If yours is a little bit thick, it's perfectly fine to add a little bit more milk to it. I'm just going to get a few more lumps out, and then we're ready to get started putting everything together. Okay, I've taken the butter out of the oven and it's nice and melted. And what I'm going to do now is drizzle our batter onto the hot butter as evenly as I can. You don't want to stir this. And ever so gently, we want to put the peach mixture in here too. This is very hot. I did use about a teaspoon of the cornstarch to thicken it up a bit. Remember, don't stir. This looks really, really good. And don't forget, when you go to put it back in the oven, that this is hot. So make sure that you have something around your hands so you don't get burned. I'm going to put this in our preheated 350-degree oven, and we're going to bake it for about 40 to 45 minutes. There we go, and it smells amazing. It cooked about 39 minutes. I think that you should check anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes for yours. I'm going to let it cool and then I'll slice into it. Thank you for watching my video on peach cobbler. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content from me, hit the red subscribe button. And also, I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment. Let me know if you've made peach cobbler before, if you do anything different. If you have any suggestions for videos, I'd love to hear it. Thanks again, and I'll see you real soon.